The day is hot, the earth is dry. There is no sign of rain as usual, and once again Su Yin is working hard on the family farm. Times are tough for the Chen family. Su Yin's father Chen Huo Jin has mortgaged the farm to a wealthy landowner to pay off gambling debts, and they are now tenant farmers. She has grown accustomed to the long hours, the sun burning the back of her neck, and the constant crippling hunger pains wreaking havoc in her stomach. But when the buffalo are sold and her father and brother Chao must plough by hand, things can't seem to get any worse. So both Su Yin and her younger sister are stunned when Su Yin is sold into slavery to help her struggling family survive. Looking back, it seems like it was just yesterday that Su Yin had been here working on the farm. But since then, she has embarked on a long journey to be where she is now, working as a cook for a wealthy Manchu official in Nanjing by the name of Chun Jianyu. She can hardly complain about her new home and new life. She has now been taught a trade and is generally well treated. But today is no ordinary day, for today will be the day that Taiping soldiers fatally attack the building, leaving nothing but a trail of destruction. Su Yin knows her only option is to flee with the daughter of the Jianyu family. There is no looking back. The author of Rebel Girl, Suzanne Gieson, has a background in politics and writing, with a bachelor degree in history and politics from the University of Queensland, and a master's degree in political theory from the University of Toronto, Canada. Most of Gieson's professional life has centred on politics and writing, often a combination of both, including positions as a researcher in Parliament House, Canberra, Cabinet Advisor in the New South Wales Premier's Department, and Head of Information in what is now the Environment Protection Authority. Since 1988, she has worked as a freelance writer and editor, and from 1992 till 1997 was literary editor of the Sydney weekly newspaper The Sun Herald. Gieson has produced a collection of short stories including Shaved Fish and 3 mystery novels starring Sid Fish, the Darlinghurst Private-Eyed Dogfish, and Sharkbait. Gieson published a range of short story collections and novels, adult fiction and non-fiction, and short adult stories including Flight of the Falcon, Death of a Princess, and All Fall Down before publishing Rebel Girl in 2007. An important selection criteria for me in choosing Rebel Girl as quality literature for classroom reading was its relevance to the cross-curriculum priority of Asia and Australia's engagement with Asia as outlined by the Foundation to Year 10 Australian curriculum. As one of the 3 cross-curriculum priorities which are embedded across all learning areas in the Australian curriculum, it is identified as an essential component of English through developing Asia literacy and developing the capacity of Australian students to communicate and engage with the peoples of Asia so that both cultures can effectively live, work and learn in the community. It is highlighted by the Australian Curriculum, Assessment and Reporting Authority that an understanding of Asia underpins the capacity of Australian students to be active and informed citizens working together to build harmonious local, regional and global communities and build Australia's social, intellectual and creative capital. Rebel Girl is a historical text about 19th century China, which I believe would contribute to developing Australian students' knowledge, skills and understanding of the histories, the geographies, cultures, arts, the literatures and the languages of China to foster social inclusion in Australia's already rapidly expanding multicultural community, and is also the key to enabling young Australians to engage effectively with and prosper in a globalised world. The second selection criteria which I used in choosing Rebel Girl as a quality literature piece for classroom reading was the concept of deep literacy. I believe that Rebel Girl would engage students in deep literacy as it presents the reader with an unfamiliar world and communicates diverse messages, ideas, ideologies, and worldviews through crossing elements of time, space, and culture, which will provoke an interest, a connection, emotion, imagination, the senses, and empathy in the students. This book will encourage students to consider diverse social, cultural, and contextual circumstances and therefore stimulate an interest in the unknown. This book will appeal to the students' social, personal, artistic, cultural, and aesthetic worlds by sparking the imagination and inviting students to place themselves in the main character's shoes to feel what it would be like to live in a time, place, and country which many students will know nothing about. This book will take students on a journey to learn more about 19th century China and encourage them to learn more about it. Rebel Girl is a book with great main concepts and underlying messages for young readers aged 8 to 12. The concept of resilience and self-determination in the face of adversity is a key concept in Rebel Girl. Although the title and content of the book may not appeal directly to students' modern, sophisticated lives or pop culture, the concept of resilience is, however, relevant to young people in a modern civilization where setbacks, adversity, and challenges are becoming part of many young people's lives. Rebel Girl teaches students to be accepting of diversity and challenges, and to meet their difficulties and work through them to be a resilient and strong-willed member of society. In using this text as a teaching resource, I would use the content description from the Literature and Context substrand in the Literature strand of the Year 6 Australian Curriculum English, stating that students will make connections between their own experiences and those of characters and events represented in texts drawn from different historical, social, and cultural contexts. This content description focuses on developing students' text participant resources by enhancing their understanding of the social and cultural experiences that have shaped their own identity and how this may influence how they interpret and respond to a text. This involves students identifying differences and similarities between themselves and the characters within the text and how this can influence the particular viewpoints they adopt. An activity that could be used to do this involves students brainstorming and creating a list of their diverse experiences and backgrounds in groups, and how these are different or the same to the main characters, and then sharing these ideas with the rest of the class. Students can then begin to understand how different people will interpret a text differently, and therefore pose unique points of view and attitudes towards the characters, actions, and events in a text. To summarise, I believe Rebel Girl is quality literature because of its social, cultural, and historical elements, deep literacy, main concepts and underlying messages, and versatility for use in a classroom as a valuable teaching and learning resource.